So we look at this trend where there's a merger of the people that are traditionally deploying the networking gear in a company, sometimes referred to as the NetOps, and the people deploying the servers and the application, sometimes called DevOps. And what we've brought to the market uniquely is a platform that allows for the merger or the fusion of the two by combining a server component and a networking component with storage in a top-of-rack switch. And so it enables some new business models, enables some new capabilities for the IT managers. So what I'd like to do is detail three of them. The first, there's a trend towards orchestration or better management of the IT infrastructure. And for example, if you're a large enterprise deploying private clouds, there's a need to orchestrate that, your servers and your storage in conjunction with your switches and your hypervisors, your virtualization. And so we've done a lot of development in that space, and because we allow you to deploy both the network-based applications as well as the switching together, it's an ideal platform for OpenStack deployments. And OpenStack is one of these orchestration technologies that is expected to be used by the majority of the enterprises deploying private clouds going forward. And so this is a real advantage if you want a flexible and a dynamic data center. The second area that we focus on is network monitoring and analytics. And this is very important if you're trying to understand how your applications are working, or if you want to protect your infrastructure against security breaches. And so once again, because we create what we call a fabric cluster, we understand who's talking to who across our switches, we understand what applications they're using. We provide an ideal, really monitoring platform in a box to be able to understand who's using the applications, what they're doing with those applications, and if there's any threats to the network. And we actually call that in-network analytics. And this is something we launched a couple weeks ago, and is something that we have some customers that are very interested in already. And then the third area of focus we term infrastructure services. And this is where a partner or an end user has deployed network-based applications on our server switch, on our hardware platform. And examples of this can include layer 4 through 7 virtualized appliances, and we're beginning to do some testing, and we'll have some announcements on that in the near future, where you want to avoid what's sometimes called appliance sprawl by bringing it closer into the data plane. Other examples of this, we have an OEM relationship announced with TIBCO, where they're using our platform for their EMS, their message bus platform, and there they've deployed their messaging applications on our server switch, and they're selling it into their customer base. And we anticipate that going forward, these infrastructure services, these applications that are deployed on our platform will become more and more important as a use case. So those are three use cases we're going after that really help IT, help people building, both public and private data centers. So I don't think there's any fundamental challenge, and if we look at the types of corporations that are here, the multinationals across the different industry sectors, they're the same as in the United States. And in fact, I lived in Europe for 12 years before I went back to the States. One of the things that we are really focused on here is the channel. We're a partner-driven company, and we know to really expand, we have to enable our distribution partners and then value-added resellers to be able to take our message out into the customer base, to take our message to potential technology partners. And we have to develop the programs, the training, the social media, the various ways of spreading the word out to our partner community to make them effective as quickly as possible. But we're already saying that, given that we're only about an 80-person company, we're already seeing some really good traction in the European theater. So a little bit of background on the customers we have already. They fall into two categories. One, we have a major deployment at a content delivery network operator called Cloudflare. And though they're based in the United States, they have somewhere around 6 to 10 points of presence in Europe, where they've deployed our hardware. For example, they've deployed in London, they've deployed in Paris and other major cities, and those continue. And that's an example of the flexibility of our platform in offering what we termed infrastructure services. The other set of customers, in fact, have been deployed by TIPCO as our OEM partner, and they're using the EMS platform for enterprise messaging. So, across the TIPCO customer base, it's a very, contained use case, and they're basically using it for the same thing. But as we move further through our partners and we gain more traction in Europe, we'll see customer deployments of the three, I'll call it model use cases I spoke of: OpenStack, which we also call Cloud Controller, the network analytics, and the network application services. We think that, if you're a multinational in the UK, if you're a logistics operator in the Netherlands, if you're, building autos in Germany, the use cases and the way the organizations deploy our product will be very much the same as, any North American or any Asian, company would as well. So a couple reasons. One, we wanted to pick a partner that had credibility in high technology and working with large organizations, large IT operations. The second is, once again, to quickly build market momentum and to begin to get a footprint not only in the UK but elsewhere. They have subsidiaries, they have parts of their organization that are in, upwards of 10 or 15 of the European countries. And third, and what I'm beginning to do this week, is meeting with some of their value-added reseller partners, realizing that they operate as a distributor. They have some very skilled VARs that have specializations in certain areas. It could be, hosting operators or financial services or other types of heavy industry. So what we're doing is identifying those VARs that can go after certain vertical market segments, and in the same way that we work to equip BIG as a distribution partner and bring them up to speed, at the same time we'll work to bring the value-added reseller network up to speed.